Welcome to the Fantasy Aceball podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And you can watch this podcast on YouTube at The Tim Kanak. And if you're watching, you already know who the final Chris in the Chris triumvirate that I'm bringing on to talk prospects, the top 75 prospects, is. You already heard the Welsh. You already heard Chris Blessing. And now you're getting Chris Clegg. So, Chris, welcome to the show. This is your first time on. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. And yeah, there's so many Chris's in the industry for fantasy baseball. So it's kind of wild when I stepped in and met all the other Chris's. Like, everybody's got to go by their last name because when we all get in the room at like First Pitch Arizona, there's like 5 Chris's and everybody's like, which Chris are they talking about? So it's funny you've had them all on back to back. But yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's like high school, right? Like everyone's going last name instead of first name.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just had to get the Chris triumvirate. I thought that it was like maybe a new thing. I don't know if anyone's ever done that before.
Oh.
Have you guys all done a podcast today or at one time?
I was trying to think if we've all been on a show together. I feel like we might have. I'm almost certain we have at least once. We had Welsh and Blessing and me on the tool shed with Cross. So I'm pretty sure that happened.
That's so awesome. So you can find Chris on X at Chris Clegg, MILB. And then also, of course, you've got the Dynasty Dugout. Awesome stuff, Dynasty Dugout. So check Chris over at Dynasty Dugout. Anything else you got going on, Chris?
Oh, no, just grinding at games and putting content out. So you putting out stuff on podcast and YouTube channel for the Dynasty Dugout, and dynastydugout.com is pretty much where all the written work is.
You have to have the most stuff, I would say, because you're posting daily. Like a lot of people are like, okay, I can do once a week, but literally every day you've got content. So I think you have the most content per day on a per capita day basis. You are numero uno, I would say, in the minor league space. So.
It's a grind, and it's a delicate balance too. Like you want to put out quality, but also quantity. And I think that like that's the balance that I found is trying to at least put out one thing daily. Like that's kind of my promise to subscribers is like one daily piece. And then if it's more, then perfect. But yeah, at least one article and one podcast a day is kind of the goal right now. So I'm just fortunate to get to where I was in the space and do it full time. So that helps out and helps me get to more games and stuff and just see more. So it's been a real blessing for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to dig now into some prospects. Number 25, which if you listen to the last podcast, we didn't even get 29 through 26. So because Blessing and I at 2 hours, we were like, all right, that's done. So 29, Kobe Mayo, 28. I don't even have it up. How dare me? But 28 off the top of my noggin, I can't remember. So sorry. 27, I think, is Luis Pena. And then 26, who I can't remember. But anyway, you got anything on Pena or on Kobe Mayo while I have those guys on the top of my head here?
Yeah, I saw Pena earlier in the year for a full series. He's buzzy, that's for sure. And I think that it's an interesting prospect. Like the hype's kind of maybe getting out of control, in my opinion. Like it's an interesting body. He's not a shortstop. Like I don't think he's a good glove. So it's interesting. Like where does he play in the infield? I'm not totally sure yet. But the speed also is something for me. Like he's stealing bases, but like the clock times I got on him are 50 to 55 grade. So everybody's kind of buzzing like he's a 70 grade runner. And that's not what I got from like, and the clock times are kind of like, they're not subjective. Like, you have it and it is what it is. So the power emerging's fun. The hit tool's really good. So I guess if you see him as a, elite power speed guy with that hit tool, then top 5 prospect like I've seen is realistic, but I'm not there personally on him. So I think you got him in a fair spot for sure. Mayo's fascinating. I wonder if he's just a head case at this point. Like he's got the skills. It's clear. I mean, the hit tool gains last year were real and the power's legit with Mayo, but I think you've seen the frustration all year. Like he didn't make the team out of camp, and openly in a press conference, he's talking about, I'm in a lose-lose situation going to AAA. And then you see him start a fight in Baltimore a couple weeks ago. So it's like, I think there's a lot of emotions going on. Hopefully he gets settled in. I don't think he's a quad A player by any means, but I do think Mayo's just got to hit reset and he'll be fine. Because I trust the bat for sure, and I think the power is obviously the carrying tool, and the hit tool's fine. It's good enough to play.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could, like, I get the frustration because I think he's buddies with Heston Kjerstad,
Yeah.
and he's basically just been his career has been completely stifled by the Orioles, and now he's back in AAA.
Yeah.
And Mayo is probably just like, I don't want that to happen to me. So I mean, like, you can get the frustration.
Yeah.
Like, the Orioles definitely should have traded some of those guys. I mean, a little too late for this year now,
Yeah.
but
Missed the boat. But
the other two guys that I brought it up while we were talking here is we've got Marcelo Mayer and Travis Bazzana. So Bazzana, I've got at 26. I actually dropped him down from 12. And like, part of that is I thought that he might debut this year. I thought that, like, he'd be a fast mover and he may debut this year. And then like, the power hasn't really been what I thought it could be. But I had that concern, like, when he was drafted. I was like, he never really hit homers until his senior season. And then all of a sudden he hits 28 bombs with a metal bat. And I'm like, I don't know how much power is really going to be in there, if it really is going to be that much more than like a JJ Weatherhold, for instance. And then now he's hurt. So I actually have Weatherhold ahead of Bazzana now due to the injury and that he's going to be missing time. So what do you think about Mayer, who's obviously like in the bigs now, hit a couple bombs last night, and then Bazzana?
Yeah, Marcelo is somebody that I've seen for a long time, just dating back to being in Fort Myers for spring training. And he was in Greenville for a little while. So I had him pretty much nightly. And at the time, like, it's funny because I was like by far the low guy on Marcelo at that point, because what I saw wasn't reflective of what the draft scout reports were. Like, the glove was fine. Like, he wasn't the elite shortstop that he was billed to be. The hit tool was not good at the time, and the power wasn't there. He rolled over a lot of balls. Like, all the balls that he pulled were rolled over the first base side. And so, like, I was really low on him, honestly. And everybody's, hyping him as this elite guy, and I just didn't see that. But the progression, like, year over year, was substantial. Like, last year, big step forward with power. He ran like a 106 and a half 90th, had like a 115 max. The hit tool improved. Really, the biggest thing is the improvement on breaking balls. Like, that's where the whiff's been with Marcelo Mayer. And so that improvement was big. And this year he took another step forward. The data was even better before the promotion, more power, better contact, better approach. So just checking all the boxes. And pretty early on, like, I bumped Marcelo into my top 5. And so I believe in the profile. Like, the improvements with the bat are there. The glove is funny because he was like billed as this like really good shortstop. And I don't think he's going to play shortstop long-term. Obviously, not the moment, but it's interesting. But I think the bat's good. You've seen it so far. He's just got to play every day. They've kind of been jerking him around in the majors and kind of, platooning him some and playing him like every third day, which that's not going to help a prospect who needs to play and get the at-bats regularly. So hopefully at this point now he's in the lineup every day. That would be the right thing to do by Marcelo. Bazzana is interesting. I think you have to have had dropped him. I was pulling up the data because it's actually, he looked really good under the hood. I was a little surprised before the injury. Like, when I got his data, I was a bit shocked. I was like, okay, I didn't expect the power to actually be up. He had taken a pretty good leap as far as the underlying data had went from his pro debut. And we know the college data was good, like, but with the metal bat, you question, like, how will it translate? And the same with like Charlie Condon, the power and the EVs didn't translate. But with Bazzana, I mean, you were looking at like a 105.5 mile an hour 9th percentile, which is above average. And that was a 3 mile an hour jump from his wood bat data last year. The exit velocity or the contact rates were really good. I mean, he was running the contact rate north of 80%, the end zone contact rate in the upper 80s, and the chase rate like 15%. So it seemed like there was some bad luck for Bazzana. And so it's interesting because he made a swing change in the offseason. Why? I don't really know. But he made a swing change and he struggled really early in the season. And, I will say he picked it up. I know it doesn't look like he picked it up on the surface, but I do still like Bazzana. I think that, again, it's fair to drop him. I dropped him. I think I've got him around 15 to 18. I have it in front of me, but 15 to 18 range for my prospect ranks. But I am encouraged and believe that there's more to come when he returns, hopefully, just given that the data improvements were pretty good.
Yeah, batted ball profile, you have to love 26% line drive rate this year, and he's pulling the ball more a little this year too. So that could lead to more power pulling the ball like that. So let's get to the top 25 now. 25 is outfielder Emmanuel Rodriguez with the Twins. This is a dude that I had like top 10 coming into the year. And then he got hurt again. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like between him and DeLauder, I'm just like, in all the injuries with these two guys, it's like, what do you do? I was joking with Blessing on the last pod. I'm like, DeLauder should be a Twins prospect at this point because that's his injury history is like right there with all these Twins guys. But Rodriguez is an interesting one. Like I like him a lot more for points leagues just because he's going to walk so much. And he may have like, I can't remember who mentioned, maybe it's James Anderson mentioned that he has like a Max Muncy speed profile. I'm like, oh, that's actually like kind of dead on. I was like, I like that a lot. Like swing wise, mechanics wise, like he kind of reminds me of Rocky Devers a little bit, but he's got really good EVs. Like he had a 114.6 max EV last year. Big time power. He's got some speed too. Like I don't know how many bags he's gonna be stealing in the majors, but he does have some speed to throw in. And it's just like, okay, can this guy make enough contact and can he be aggressive enough to actually like get on base? Like you don't want a guy who's just going to sit there with the bat on the shoulder all the time, because that's been like, to me as a Cardinals fan, that's been kind of like the downfall of Lars Nootbaar. It's like, okay, he's putting up all these great exit velocity numbers and he looks amazing on StatCast data, but then his swing rate is like 30 something percent. And it's like, you got to get the bat off the shoulder. You got to swing a little bit more and get a little more aggressive. So that's like my major concern for him is injuries. And can he swing more than the 33.3% swing rate or whatever that he's had?
Yeah, he's so passive. And, some people will say that he's just got a good approach, but I think at some point, like you've got to swing the bat more. Yeah, it's good to see a low chase rate. He was like 10% last year, which was like elite of the elite. Still like this year, pretty good. I've got him at 17.5%. So still pretty solid chase rate, but he just doesn't swing enough. The end zone swing rate, 64%. You'd like to see that come up. Like the delta between the swing and chase, or the zone swing and chase, is still good, but the swing minus chase rate needs to take a step forward, about 20% delta there. And the contact too. Like you got to make more contact. That's my concern. The zone contact's putrid, like bottom of the barrel. And that's kind of my fear, because I still think it matters when you hit the ball on the ground as much as he does, when you miss as much as he does in the zone. While the power's good, I just worry like you throw in the injuries on top of that. And it's like, dude, this guy has all the talent in the world and he should be, he should have been in the majors already. But the Twins have issues with their health, their medical staff, because just look at the history of these guys. Like Walker Jenkins is entering that territory. You've got Emmanuel Rodriguez. You've got a long list with Buxton and Wallner and Larnick. Like all these guys that just can't stay healthy. It's fascinating. I don't know exactly all the details, but, I do like Emmanuel Rodriguez. I think he's uber talented and pure upside wise, like top 5 to 10 prospect in baseball. But the flaws just outweigh at this point. And I'm a little worried at this point. Like I held out hope for a while. And at this point, I'm just not sure. Like I think he's going to have stretches. He's going to be in the majors and have stretches where he is like just dominating. But then it could be, he's out for 3 months again, or he just struck out 40% clip last month. And that wouldn't shock me a bit if that were the case. So yeah, fascinating prospect, really polarizing, but skills for days.
Yeah, one thing to note too is the splits are not good. Like especially this year, he's hitting 163 against lefties with a 186 slug. So that's like right there. That's like, okay, is he going to end up being one of these Twins like platoon guys? I mean, like that's Wallner, Larnick, all these guys came up in platoons. So is that going to happen with him too? Or is he going to be able to hit against lefties? So, I mean, he's not showing it at AAA right now.
Right.
Number 24 is starting pitcher Travis Sikora, who was hurt at the beginning of the year and then was pitching it against complex guys, just like completely dominating them. So if you look at his like overall numbers on the season, it's like not even, it's not really fair because he was playing at complex league. And I joked with Doc, I was like, it looks like he's playing against little leaguers when he's on the backfield, just like striking out every single guy he's against. So Sikora is a guy that I really, really like. And it's like, I just really want him to be against better competition. Like he's too good for high A. You know, like he was at A-ball all year last year. And the whole time I'm like, he's too good for this level. I need to see him against better competition. And then now he's at high A. And like, this is a guy who should already be at double A, if not triple A at this point, just based on talent alone. I mean, like, you can't go wrong with this guy. 41.9% CSW on the season, with a 24.4% swinging strike rate. The fastball is ridiculous. He's got the splitter. I love everything that this guy does. I just want to see him move quicker. What do you think about Sakura, and like, how aggressively are you ranking him? Like, what do you like between like the other pitchers in this like upper tier? Like, is there a point where you say, okay, maybe Sakura could be better than Painter or Chandler or something like that? Like, what do you think about these like top tier guys?
Yeah, he's fascinating. I saw him last year, and it was one of the more dominant starts that I saw. And I think I saw like 8 of my top 10 ranked pitching prospects. He had like 23 whiffs in the start. It was in single A, and he was obviously too good. And his stretch that he went on to end last year in the playoffs, where he struck out 20 batters in 10 innings, was just insane. I'll actually be to start tonight. They're in Spartanburg, so not far from me. So I'll be up there to see Sakura. I'm curious to see where the fastball data is for the start tonight, because the fastball is really the biggest issue for me. The velocity's good. I think the velo will play. He runs in the mid 90s. He'll touch some 6s and some 7s, but the shape, I worry, might get hit against upper level hitters. But you look at the secondaries, and the splitter is one of the most beautiful splitters that I've seen in person. It's just this balloon pitch where misses bats at absurd rates. I think he had a near 50% whiff rate on it last year. And his slider was the same way. Like, the slider missed bats at really high clips too. So I'm kind of curious, from his release point, it makes the fastball a tough look for lower level hitters. So I'm curious, where he will be tonight. And I don't think it'll be much of a challenge. Spartanburg lineup's not good with Malcolm Moore hurt and Dylan Dreiling hurt. So I'll be fascinated. He might strike out 10 batters tonight, and I wouldn't be shocked. But he's continued to dominate high hitters. It's just nasty stuff. And I agree with you. I think he's not going to be challenged in high A, just given the stuff that he brings to the table. Those secondaries aren't looks that lower level hitters get very often. And just the fastball velo, how well he hides it. And honestly, like, the mechanics are very reminiscent of Paul Skeens. And that's not a comp, but like, that's how he winds up and delivers. Like, he looks very much like Skeens does, with the quick high leg kick, and where he gets in the point of delivery. But I do think that he's easily a top 5 pitching prospect at this point. How high does he get? I think it depends on that fastball, because there's some other pitchers, obviously, like you've got Painter, Chandler, and Burns for sure, that have better fastballs, in my opinion. And I think that you'll have to have that fastball to play in the upper levels in the majors. So I'm kind of curious where Sakura gets with the fastball, but he's so young still. So I wouldn't put it past him making the improvements that he needs. Honestly, I'm a bit shocked that he's performing like this, because with a hip pointer and the hip injury, that messes up everything with the mechanics. Like, if one thing's slightly off, I worry that he would come back and struggle. That hadn't been the case at all. So to come back and perform like he has with that hip injury has been absurd.
Yeah, the command rates are just ridiculous too. I mean, like, he's throwing near, like, not at, but near 60% strike rates each time out. Like one where he hit 47%, but like every other game, he's throwing 56, 58, 59 strike percentage. That's really, really high.
Yeah.
And the slider, I'm curious to see what kind of velos you get on the slider when you see him tonight. If he's throwing, where it's hovering around, because like it averages around 85, but that's kind of like the breaking. Like, Eno's been talking about it a lot lately. Like 85 mile per hour is like the breaking point in a slider, or like below 85, it performs significantly less than if it's 85 or higher. So it's like, I'm curious where it's really sitting. Like, is it topping 85 or is it sitting 85? Because that's kind of a big difference there on the slider.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to pull up where he's been sitting this year with it. If I recall, last year he was, I don't remember exactly. I was going to pull up where I had him, and then I don't want to slow the pod down, but I was curious to look and see, because you're right, though. I think that those things do matter. Like, when we're looking at the landscape of like who he will become. And that's the thing. Like, we have to look at what prospects. It's like, who are they right now? But like, who do they project to be? And that's always kind of the interesting thing is like, where can we project a Sakura who's 6'6" and he's highly projectable? He can certainly add weight to this frame and potentially get to more velocity. I think that he's one that is poised to have like an upper 80 slider eventually. But yeah, like he's topping more like 85. I'll be curious where he is tonight. If he sits more 85, or that'll be fun to see. I'll definitely report back on that.
Cool. 23, shortstop Jesus Mate with the Brewers. And a lot of people are like already have him in the top 10. But I want to see what he can do at a higher level first before I'm like jumping in that much. There's a lot of guys that I like up here. But Mate, he's kind of doing everything you want. And like, I have Mate ahead of Pena. I know there's people out there that are Pena truthers and have Pena ahead because of the hit tool. But I think Mate is just more of a freak athlete. I think he's going to just, he's already getting to higher EVs. So there's more power potential here. Maybe like based on your clock times, maybe the speed is actually, better for Mate versus Pena as well. Something to look at. Plate skills are different. They're just as good, but in a different way. Like Mate's walking more and also striking out more than Pena is, because Pena is going to get the bat in the zone more and make more contact. So like from a fantasy angle, Pena is probably going to run higher batting averages, but Mate might get you a decent more amount of power. And then if you're in a points league, he'll probably walk more too. So it just depends on how your points league may count points, on like how you would lean that, if you'd rather have the guy with more hits or the guy with more walks. But like I'm leaning Mate because I'm always going to go, if like there's two guys that are like, these guys are pretty close, I'm always going to lean to the power, I think, when it comes to hitting prospects.
Yeah, and Mate's just more projectable. Like as far as the athlete, like Pena's it's kind of a squatty frame. He's interesting. I really wonder how he's going to fill out, because an 18-year-old with that frame, like he could grow. Like we saw Ellie De La Cruz sprout 4 inches between his 18 and 19-year-old season. So again, it wouldn't be shocking to see Luis Pena grow, but he's kind of short, kind of squatty, while Mate is taller, skinnier, projectable. He's the shortstop. He's going to play short unless he outgrows it somehow and gets bigger. But the bat, as you mentioned, the contact skills, definitely to Pena. The power, I'll give to Mate. And I know people will say, like, well, the exit velocities presently that Baseball America reported are better. But again, at the end of the day, like, we're looking at such a small sample of batted balls for Pena's ninth percentile exit velocity. And, they've come down a touch. I think that Mate will be the better power bat long term. And speed-wise, like, yeah, the clock times were pretty close from what I got. So it'll be interesting to see, like, how does Pena's body progress as an athlete for an 18-year-old versus Mate, who I think could actually see his run times tick up with similar things we saw to Julio Rodriguez. Like, Rodriguez added, like, at least 1 grade to his run time as he got older, which is rare, but, like, that's the kind of build that Jesus Mate has in the mold that we've seen players get better as athletes. And that wouldn't be shocking to see from a Jesus Mate type. Now, the contact skills, I mentioned easily Pena, but I think you see Jesus Mate, he controls the zone pretty well. He gets the barrel in the zone for a long time, and he puts the bat on the ball and makes things happen. That's what you want to see. And we're betting on the long term. Like, these guys aren't major league producers right now. They're in single A. So how will they fare against major league pitching? And I'm just a little more comfortable saying Jesus Mate will be the better player long term. Yeah, there's a hitch in his swing, and they may make some changes there, but as long as he's performing, you're not going to stop what a guy's doing. And I think this kid was 17 when I saw him in April. Like, he was still 17 years old, and to do the things that he did on the field was like, okay, I get he's in single A, but this is stupid. Like, this kid should still be a junior in high school, and yet he's playing professional baseball at the full season level, and he's doing things like highly impressive. So big Jesus Mate fan. I agree. He's the better prospect over Pena. So I'm there with you. Pena's fun. I get it. I get the reasons that people have him higher, but I'm the Jesus Mate fan of those two. But again, like both a lot.
Yeah, and he's like a real switch hitter. Like,
Yeah,
if you look
absolutely.
at his splits, they're pretty even across the board. Like, maybe there's a little more power from the right side against lefties. I don't know. That's at least what the numbers bear out right now in small sample size. But the good thing is that he is successful on both sides of the plate. A lot of switch hitters, you'll see people trying it, and then once they get to higher levels, maybe it doesn't work. But I think for him, that's not going to be a problem. He seems to be a pretty natural switch hitter. 22 is shortstop Franklin Arias with the Red Sox. Like, first off, I want to ask you, when we get into it, when we get into your side of this, do you think he's going to stick it short long term, or do you think he's a second baseman? But next, I asked Blessing this question yesterday: Arias or Pena on the hit tool, and he went Arias, and I agree. Like, I'm Arias hit tool all day. So 92% contact rate at high A right now is absolutely insane for Arias, this is like one of the guys that actually translated very well from complex to A ball. There were a lot of these guys who are awesome in complex, and then all of a sudden they get to A ball and they have a rough time. Like Kalaz, for instance, like put up crazy numbers at complex, goes to A ball, struggles a little bit because there was too much swing and miss. The hit tool was not developed enough. But Arias came in with an advanced hit tool. That's his carrying tool, and that's really what's carrying up these levels right now, because he's 19 at high A and very successfully hitting 340 as a 19-year-old at high A. So he could probably get the bump like George Lombard and play double A at age 19 at some point this year because that hit tool is so good. I mean, like, if you're going to talk about, anyone having a Jacob Wilson-ish hit profile, like, this would be the guy. But I think he's got probably better doubles power. So he's got a better gap power, and he's got some better speed than Jacob Wilson to boot. So what do you think about Arias?
Yeah, he's somebody that I've said on a lot. He's here in Greenville. I've seen him a lot over the years, just in spring training, and then a little bit with Salem to end last year. He's a fascinating player because there is a lot of buzz. I've seen him now be ranked in the top 10 and by respectable outlets. Like Keith Law has him, I think, 8th best prospect. I've not seen that player. I think the hit tool is the only plus tool or better, and the hit tool might be a 7. Like, he's that good. I can probably count on my fingers the number of times that I've seen Franklin Arias swing and miss at games that I've been at this year. Like, he just doesn't miss, puts a lot of balls in play. He's another one where I don't think the speed or the stolen base, I don't think he's stolen as many bases this year. I don't know. I don't really look at surface numbers all that often, but if I just being there, I don't recall him stealing as many bases. I know he stole a lot last year. Everybody was like, oh, this kid's a plus runner. And that wasn't even the case last year. Like, the clock times I had were average on him. He's an average runner at best, and he may slow down. So that'll be interesting to kind of follow. Yeah. He's fine at shortstop. He doesn't like pop off as like, okay, this kid's like a great shortstop, but like, he makes the plays that he needs to make. And I think the biggest question is, how's the body going to progress? He's got a little bit of projection on the frame. If he adds a little weight, does he move off? Does he lose that first step? And does he move off shortstop? And that would be an interesting thing to follow. He's made the plays that he needs to make. He's not like a plus. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's a plus shortstop, but he's good enough. He's made all the plays at high A, but hit tool's there. The power's fascinating. He just hit his 3rd home run of the year the other day. I am interested to see where the power gets to. He's taken a step back exit velocity wise, which is interesting. Like, his 9th percentile's dropped. It was like 102.5 last year, which for an 18-year-old, you're like, yeah, I like to see it. Drops down to around 101.5 this year, which is still good. Like, he's 19. So you look in age adjusted exit velocity, like, that'll play. But where's the power long-term? It's not overly projectable in the frame. And that's kind of been my pushback. Like, everybody's got the hype this guy as a top 10 prospect. I'm like, I just don't see him having more than the hit tool being better than average right now. And the hit tool's, again, otherworldly good. I think that he's handled velocity well. He's handled breaking balls well. He's done a lot of things exceptionally well that have been like, okay, this is very, very impressive. Launch angles are a question, a lot of ground balls. He's going to have to learn how to use the pull side more in the air. But again, it's 19. So like, we're looking at like, what will he become? And obviously, like, you hope that he can turn into somebody that hits more home runs, because last year, majority of the home runs came at the complex. So, it's a little bit different environment. You're seeing more meatballs. And so, yeah, I think he's a 15 home run bat long-term. I think he probably steals you 5 to 8 bases. And, if the hit tool can maintain this level, then obviously, like, you're looking at somebody that could hit 300, which is just kind of wild to say. But yeah, the hit tool is definitely the carrying tool. He's Very, very talented prospect. And I like him. I'm just not in love with him enough to say like this is a top 10 prospect. Yeah, I'm not there. And I've seen a lot. Maybe I'm more critical because I've set on him so many games, but maybe that's to a fault. But again, I think he's a really good prospect, and he's the next Red Sox #1 prospect when they graduate this big three.
Yeah, the Red Sox, if they plan to keep him, they should probably try to have him pulling a little more. He's a sprayer. They're only a 37% pull rate. And the thing is, he is getting to more doubles this year. He has 15 doubles right now on the season. Last year, he only had 9 at Aceball in 36 games. This year, he's got 11 in high A in 33 games. So there's a little more doubles power despite maybe having lower EVs. So maybe he's, maybe it's luck, but maybe he's just really good at spraying into the outfield in places where the outfielders ain't. And if he can hit the green monster enough times, then maybe you don't need the home run power. Maybe it's okay if he was only a 10 or 12 home run guy if he's hitting 40 doubles off of the green monster every year. So it's more just can they teach him to pull for that park? Like they've got to teach him to hit for that park if he's going to be a Red Sox, I think. 21, former Red Sox outfielder Braden Montgomery with the White Sox. I just love everything he was doing. He started the year really hot. He's kind of cooled down a little bit since then. And even when he got to high A, he was still really hot, like when he first got up there. But despite that, we're finally seeing him healthy. He didn't play last year after getting drafted. And Welsh and I talked all the time on P1 about that. It was your buying window for Braden Montgomery. Right after he got drafted, he was not playing. You got to see all these other guys come in and play, and you start getting excited when you see Cam Smith or whoever playing right after they get drafted. But then Braden Montgomery has no data, so people are just going to forget about him, and then he falls back in the rankings. So that was your buying window. That buying window is now gone on Braden Montgomery. Good plate skills, really good hit tool, power and speed. Like I comped him to like he's your lighter version kind of Jason Dominguez, I think, as a switch hitter. Even though he's bigger than Jason Dominguez, I just don't know if he has the crazy EVs that Dominguez had long term, and I don't think he has maybe the speed potential that Jason Dominguez had. But if you're looking at like a light Jason Dominguez long term across like as a comp statistically, I'm pretty on board with that. Especially like White Sox. People forget because the White Sox are not good right now, but that's a really good stadium to hit in. When they have a good team there, like that stadium will generate some good power. Like we saw Jose Abreu dominate there for a long time. So like that's a good stadium to hit in if they actually have good hitters in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's somebody that when I saw him in college last year, when they played at South Carolina last year, it was okay, wow, like this kid's special. The arm is off the charts. He's got an 80 grade arm in the outfield, first off. And I saw that. This has been 2 weeks ago that I saw Winston-Salem, and he's got a killer arm. So that's the first tool that's out there. And then I think that the athlete's really good. And remember, this kid was like a killer two-way star back in the day, and he runs well. The run times have ticked down. He's still a good athlete. So you got to give him the credit for the athlete, and the power definitely plus. Like his EVs in college last year were the best in the college class. Like his average exit velocity with the metal bats was like 98.5. It was the best in college baseball. Ninth percentile was like 111.5 off the top of my head. And it was a tick down with wood bats. Obviously, it's not going to maintain. People can throw out the accusations all they want to on the metal bats, whatever. But when you're still the best, there's a lot of, if people are cheating, there's a lot of people cheating. If you're the top ranked and they have the best EVs, then I think you can kind of say, throw some of that out. The hit tool is the question with Montgomery, because really the biggest thing, the adjustment period for him going to high A is now he is getting beat low and away. Like people are able to throw him breaking balls low and away, and they're able to beat him. Honestly, like I think that he should stop switch hitting. That would be my preference for him, but the talent is undeniable. Like if he was healthy at the draft, like scouts have told me that he would have gone top 5. Like that was the kind of talent we were looking at. The Red Sox knew they got a steal, and the Red Sox were in such a situation to get Crochet where they weren't giving up any of the big 3. The White Sox asked, like internally, I've heard from the people I know in the White Sox organization, like it was just an automatic no. But Braden Montgomery was a good enough headliner where it's like, okay, we can live with not getting one of the big three if we're getting Braden Montgomery as a headliner. Kyle Teal, obviously now in the majors, was a pretty good secondary piece, and some considered him the headliner as well. But I'd say Montgomery was that guy from a pure upside standpoint. He is picking it up. I think that now Montgomery's readjusting, because I saw him several weeks ago have a couple 3 strikeout games. That was discouraging to see, but he's kind of adjusting back to what pitchers have done to him. The last few weeks he's had, or the last week, I guess, he's had a couple of multi-hit games, and he's getting back on track. So Montgomery's stellar athlete. He's got power for days. Like, he could be a 25 home run bat. Wouldn't be shocked. I think he runs well enough to steal 15 bases. And the biggest question is like the hit tool. And I think that he's shown that the hit tool can be fine. I think that everybody kind of was like, oh, the hit tool's so bad. Like, that's why we wouldn't have taken him top 10 in the draft. That wasn't the case. Like, his college data was good. It was like an 85% end zone contact. I can live with that all day long if you're giving me the other tools. And this year, I mean, he's running like a contact rate around 72%. And again, if that maintains, and we'll say the hit tool's average, then I'm okay given all the other tools. So big Braden Montgomery fan. He just checks a lot of boxes, and the upside's there.
Yeah, number 20 is outfielder Lazaro Montes with the Mariners. Power guy, right? I don't understand why he's not in Double A. This is another one of these guys like him and Josue DePaulo. I'm like, why are they still in High A at this point? 13 bombs right now on the season in High A, hitting 269, 384, 546. So he does have strikeout issues. His contact is not the greatest, but there's big time power here. And that plays, especially like Seattle, they need a power hitter. Like that lineup, besides Cal Raleigh, like you could use some power behind, you could use some juice in that lineup. Julio is good, but the power is not really what kind of he might have showed when he first came up. And where his first season, everyone's like, oh, this guy's going to be the superstar. He's like kind of had, fallen back on the power. And part of that may be due to the stadium, but I think Montes is like the middle of the order bat that they need to kind of supplement the rest of that team there, especially because they're not going to go out and sign a big free agent. So like, this is a guy, if I'm the Mariners, that I would be pushing. And they have all these middle infielders, and they've got obviously like Farmelo too. But like Montes is the guy that I'd be pushing, because I feel like that's the guy, that's the type of bat that they need in the lineup if they want to win now, when they're not going to be adding offensive pieces and they're not going to be trading their pitchers. So like, I really don't understand why they're not pushing him, unless they are just that concerned that the contact rate is going to tank to like Spencer Jones levels or something when they bring him up to Double A. Like, then I get it, because obviously like the contact rate right now of 65.8% is not great. Like, you probably want to see that in the 70s. And maybe that's what they want to see before they bring him up. What are your thoughts on Montes? Like, I just think the power is so good that it's going to play even with a, slightly below average hit tool, like unless it's like terrible, unless he's like a 30 hit tool, which it doesn't look like it right now. Like, I think it's just going to play.
Yeah, he's fascinating to me. I mean, the power, in all actuality, the EVs weren't great last year. Like, I know everybody's kind of like remembers the 119 mile an hour home run he hit the complex, but his EVs like were fine last year. I think it was a 104.5 mile an hour ninth percentile, which again, he was 19. Like, that was good, but like everybody talks of him like a 80 grade juice guy. And I'm not sure I'm there. Now the EVs have taken a step forward. He's hit some homers up to like 114 this year, clearing batters' eyes. Like, he does some pretty insane things. And I think his ninth percentile right now is around 107. So it has jumped. But also he's kind of traded some traits for the more EVs, because the ground ball rate's up. He's rolling over balls more often. He's actually seeing the ground ball rate jump 10 percentage points, which that's an issue. Like, when you're seeing a ground ball rate jump like that, less fly balls, more infield fly balls, so more the pop-up rate is up. His home run to fly ball rate's through the roof. I kind of think a lot of it's due to his home ballpark in Everett. Funko Field is like the most bizarre ballpark you'll ever see. If you go look at the dimensions, like it plays and tailors to a lefty, how it's like basically in right center, it's like this straight line from like center field over. So like it's super short out there in right center. So it's certainly aiding. And there's some other ballparks there in the Northwest League that are very home run friendly. Interestingly enough, like I looked at his splits, and Only 3 of his home runs have come at home, which is weird. But again, weird things have happened. I do think Montez hit tool's probably 30 grade. He whiffs too much in the zone. He gets velocity in the zone, missing curveballs, breaking balls, missing. And that's my fear. Like, what happens when he goes to AA? Does it spike? You look at the strikeout rate right now, it's manageable, 26.5%. You're like, if he can do this, we can live there. My biggest fear was that he would go up and see the contact rates continue to tank, because when the end zone contact rates like they are, it's a little bit of a concern. And his contact rates in high A since he got promoted last year and this year around 66% is a little bit concerning for me. I don't know. I think that the athlete probably regresses with time. I think he has to move to first base, just given the body. The run times are going to tick down. Like, he's already a below average athlete, and he's okay in the field. I think it gets worse with age. So, like, a first baseman, like, there's going to be a lot of pressure to hit. Now, the power is fun. No denying that. I bumped Montez up because you couldn't argue or deny what he's doing. And I think that at the end of the day, like, the approach is pretty good. Like, he'll take a walk. Like, we've seen that. Chase rates down this year. That's good to see. But at the end of the day, like, who is Montez, and does he need more seasoning in high A? Probably. And I fear that if he went to AA, like, it could tank pretty quickly and there would be a big adjustment. Could he adjust back? Yes. I still like Montez. I've got him as a top 40 prospect. So I'm not like that far behind you, but I do think there's some adjustments that are needed to be made for him to be like a top 10 prospect. Like, when we look at just might be empty power at the end of the day. And I hope not, but I hope I'm wrong there, but we'll see.
Yeah, that is the fear. Number 19 is catcher / DH / whatever, Augustino Ramirez with the Marlins. He's up in the pros right now, so we don't need to spend too much time on him. He is no longer a prospect. He graduated, but at the time that I wrote this updated rankings, he was still a prospect, so I threw him on there. Obviously, like, crazy power, just extra base hits out the wazoo. Basically, that's all he's doing right now, is hitting extra base hits or not hitting. So it's either like, he's almost like 3 true outcomes, but instead of home runs, it's extra base hit. It's like double or home run. So it's like, okay, walk, K, double or home run with Augustino Ramirez right now. He's really fun to have in leagues because there are not a lot of really good catchers out there, and because he is playing every day, and he's in the middle of the Marlins lineup. So great player, and he's not a prospect anymore, so not much else to say on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's elite juice for a catcher. The hit tool has wound up being better than expected, and it's going to play. I'm really excited about his long-term outlook. So, yeah, graduating him in this rank is a pretty good spot, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. 18 is shortstop JJ Weatherholt with the Cardinals. As a Cardinals fan, I just love this guy. The hit tool is ridiculous, and he hits the crap out of the ball. I saw him a lot this spring. I saw him a lot last year since I'm in Jupiter, so I got to see him when he was playing in Palm Beach. And every time he hits the ball, it is really loud. Like, this guy makes that contact where if you're watching him in person, it's just super, super hard. So even if you don't have the data, you're just like, okay, this guy is a gamer. My only concern with him is, like, he's just such a sprayer. He's like almost too much of a sprayer. He goes oppo like all the time. And like, everyone's like, oh, look, Weatherholt went oppo taco again. But it's like, I'd like to see some pull. I like to see some pull homers mixed in there too a little bit, because he's like always going to, down the center, or he's going to opposite field. Like, he needs to pull the ball a little bit more. That's like really the only concern I have with him, because the hit tool is great. There's speed here. Like, he doesn't have, I think he's only has like 7 or 8 stolen bases or something like that on the season, but he's pretty fast. I think he could run a lot more if he wants to. It's more just like, I don't know if that's his game. Like, he in college, he ran a decent amount. Like, he has 8 steals right now. And I'll tell you, I've seen him. He's fast, and he's also a very good defender. So he could stick it short, but Mason Wynn is there, so he's not. So because of that, I think he could play third pretty easily. If Arenado is moved out, then he could go to third. I would rather have him playing third than Nolan Gorman. So I'll tell you that much. But I think that he's a very good athlete, and it's just kind of like hit tool leads. There is really good power here behind the hit tool, but how much power is going to develop if he can't pull it? It might just be mostly doubles power and gap power if he's not going to pull the ball, especially in St. Louis. That's a hard place to hit for lefties, especially for power.
Yeah. Well, I think Weatherholt's like become one of the more underrated prospects because he just doesn't get talked about because he's not putting up flashy numbers. but he's OPS in near 900 in double A, skipped high A, so goes to double. Probably the fair place for him, just given the skill set, the hit tools, really good. You look at what he's able to do, the kind of contact he makes, it's a plus hit tool or better, in my opinion. And then I think when you factor in like spray angles and stuff, like that's really the biggest ding, but he does hit a lot of line drives. And people were quick to look at the ground ball rate here and say, oh, like he's a 44% ground ball rate, like it's a little high. And I get it, but he's hitting a lot of line drives and it's like good launch angles. It's not like bad fly balls that he's hitting. So you see like a 28.5% fly ball rate. It's like, okay, like these are healthy fly balls and you like to see that. So the pull rate is interesting. Like he has seen that rise a little bit over the years. The EVs are better than average. So I think the game power is probably a 55. I think it's a 55 runner. I think Weatherholt's just a big bag of like above average tools with a plus hit tool. And at second base, like that's going to play. I think people like have been quick to say like Bazana's the better prospect, but like I wouldn't be shocked if they had similar careers and maybe even Weatherholt, like you look at the profile and say like maybe there's a little more here. And I'm in on Weatherholt for sure. I think that he's kind of been the guy where like people just labeled him boring and like have dinged him a little bit because of that, but that's not the case at all. Weatherholt's a really good hitter. He's a pure hitter. He's got speed. He's got juice. He kind of gives you everything that you want to see. And I think we'll see him in AAA before long. Like he's proving that AA is no challenge at all for him, just given the kind of contact he's making, the kind of approach that he's showing. It's just a really, really well-rounded bat that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, Cardinals love him too. I would not be surprised if he breaks camp next year, or even probably unlikely unless they are like really bad and they trade some of the assets off that they have right now. Unlikely he comes up this year, but you know it is a possibility if the Cardinals just tank and they trade Arenado and everybody else. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Proximity here. 17, shortstop Jordan Lawler with the Diamondbacks. This is a dude that I just want him to graduate. Like
Yep.
I'm just like, I've been ranking this guy forever. So it's like, he's really good. He's lighting up AAA PCL. So, you know, like take the numbers with a grain of salt, and he hasn't got a chance. He hasn't gotten a fair shot at consistent playing time in the majors. So it's like this is his major league numbers, in my opinion, like don't even matter right now because it's like the playing time was all over the place. No consistency at all. AAA numbers are ridiculous. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. He's probably, you know, closer to what he was doing before AAA than what the numbers he's putting up at AAA just because where he's at. But, you know, there's a very good hit tool here. There's also good speed here with Lawler, like really good speed. Plate approach is okay, so it works. And there's maybe 20 homer power in here for Lawler. So I'm pretty high on him, despite like the Diamondbacks kind of messing around with him right now. What do you think about Lawler?
He's interesting. I think he did make some strides this year. He's always been somebody that I've been lower on than the consensus because the EVs were pretty bad. Like before he got into the public space where he was in AAA and people had that data. So like it wasn't great. And that was my concern. And the contact was pretty bad too. Now he has shown the improvements with contact, which is good. You have to show those improvements. I wonder, like, are there mental struggles, like a mental block with like major league pitching? I don't think Lawler's a quad A player. Like, I'm not saying that by any means, but we've seen the struggles. They're clear in the majors. I think some of it's a mental block. I think some of it's the inconsistent playing time, but I also think pitchers know how to exploit him. You look at the whiff rates, even in AAA against breaking balls, and they're bad. Like whiff rates against breakers this season, running like a near 40% whiff rate. So that's really concerning. Changeups, 46% whiff rate in AAA. And like, he's going to face even better off speed in breaking balls in the majors. So that's my biggest concern. Like Lawler can hit fastballs, but can he hit breaking balls? And I think pitchers in the majors know that. They're going to figure that out really quick. And they're like, okay, like we'll just throw you more secondary pitches because you can't hit them. And he's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to figure out how to make more contact and do more damage on missed breaking balls. That's what he's done. Like a lot of his damage has come on missed fastballs and breaking balls, but Lawler can hit fastballs against 94 plus. It's really good whiff rates. Like his contact rates against fastballs that are 94 or higher have been like 85%. So really good contact there against good fastballs. But the breaking balls, that's my concern, is like, how well does this dude handle them? And I think that could be the downfall until we see some improvements. What kind of changes does he have to make? I don't know, but something has to change. Now, the athlete's good. The power has ticked up, which is good. It's been encouraging to see for Lawler. And I even think the hit tool overall, like if you look at the overall contact rates, you're like, yeah, like there's been some improvement here, and that's been good to see. But until we see him hit breaking balls, I think there's going to be a lot of struggles in the majors, and that could be his downfall until we see some improvements there.
Yeah, number 16 is second baseman Luke Keeschel with the Twins. He debuted way faster than I expected because he had Tommy John last year, and I didn't even think that he was going to be ready at the beginning of the season. I was like, oh, we probably won't see him till the end of the year or something like that. Debuts very quickly, has a really great debut. It's only 7 games, so small sample size, but walked more than he struck out and stole a bunch of bags in 7 games. I don't necessarily think that speed is for real. This is a hit first guy, really good plate approach. There is some speed, but I don't expect him to be stealing like a bag a game like he was in the majors this year. But he's more of a doubles guy. It's kind of like rinse and repeat with Weatherholt, but he's, in the majors already, as far as Luke Keeschel is concerned. What do you think, Clegg?
Yeah, I mean, he's a fascinating player where, again, I was shocked they pushed him like this, but the hit tool was so good and his angles are so good. Like you look at the exit velocities and it's like not going to wow you. Like he's not going to be a guy that ever puts up elite exit velocities, but it's kind of like built in the Isaac Paredes mold where he hits so many balls at ideal launch angles and he gets the pull side frequently. And so it really allows his skill set to play up and he's going to hit more home runs than the exit velocity suggests. The contact rates, as you mentioned, absurd. Like he's done that his entire career where it's like, this kid's just a pure hitter. The defense is fascinating. Like the injuries that he's had, obviously had TJ last year, another injury this year. Like, where does he fit on the diamond? Like, does he play second base? Maybe. But like, you fear that if he can't stay healthy, like, does he just DH? And like, it's a weird profile for a DH. I don't think that's a likely outcome at this point in his career. And again, the Twins, just injury city, man. Like these guys just can't keep anybody healthy. And that's a concern. So, Keeschel, though, the profile is so safe. I love the profile. And I think that he's just always going to put up numbers. And you're going to look back and say, like, how did this dude do that? Like, how did Luke Keeschel put up this slash line with 15 homers? And he runs a little bit too. So, like, yeah, it's a fun profile for sure. And it's a really safe profile outside the injuries.
So, Keeschel or Weatherholt? Who are you picking between those two?
I take Weatherholt still, just a little bit safer for me. And I think that it's just a more well-rounded skill set with a little bit louder pop. And it's the hit tool. I think they're close. Power gives the edge to Weatherholt, exit velocity wise. Angles, you go back to Keeschel, but speed, probably Weatherholt, but close. So I like Weatherholt in a pretty close one there.
Yeah, 15 is third baseman Matt Shaw, who I think actually just graduated like yesterday from prospect rankings. And you would have expected him, based on him breaking camp, that it would have been sooner. But obviously he struggled when he first came back, had to go back down and make some adjustments. I think the story is that he had to, he tried to change his swing for, higher velocity, and then it just completely backfired. So he had to go back to his old swing. So he's doing pretty good right now in the majors, holding his own, not necessarily lighting anything up, but he's got a 94 WRC plus, 244 batting average. The average EVs you could complain about, he's not getting into as much power as he was. Maybe that's just him trying to adapt, or maybe that's him struggling with breakers. I'm not really sure on that one. But besides that, he's been pretty solid across the board with 2 bombs, 7 steals. For a rookie, that's not too shabby. A lot of rookies will struggle much worse when they first come up, especially when you consider his early season struggles. Since he's come back, he's been pretty good. But Matt Shaw, long-term, I like him a lot. As a third baseman, and a guy who was playing fantasy baseball when David Wright was coming up, I just get David Wright vibes from him, because you don't get many third basemen who can steal bags and also hit for some power and hit for pretty good batting average. So maybe not quite David Wright, but I get similar vibes from Matt Shaw.
Yeah, Shaw swings it well. He's always been one of those guys that is just well-rounded in all aspects of the game. And maybe you don't see that. If you're looking at what he's done in the majors this year, whatever, there's no power because the Savant sliders are bad. But I'd look past that. You're talking about, again, a rookie who came up and struggled. And that's normal. Like most rookies don't come up and do what Augustin Ramirez did. Like that's not the norm. And I think that in Shaw's case, like he has adapted and we've seen the improvements and those things that you want to see. Now the bat speed's interesting. Like I feel like he is kind of making an emphasis to try to make more contact, which maybe it was because of the early struggles, but you look at like when he's returned, like versus like early on, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's still a lack of bat speed, which you're like, what's he doing here? Like, why are we not putting more of an effort to hit the ball harder? But as he's come back, like in the last 82 plate appearances, it's been 299, 341, 429 slash. That's been good to see. You look at the StatCast since he returned, still not great. Like the average EV since coming back is 83 miles an hour, barrel rate at 6%, 26% hard hit rate. So no gains there at all. And it's like, okay, like we got to see some jumps here. And I think maybe that comes with time. We'll see. But the contact's been good. I mean, 90% in zone contact since coming back to the majors and 85% overall. Like those are fun, but come on, Matt Shaw, let's get back to some of those powers. The EVs were good last year. He has been a guy that's put up above average EVs in the minors. So like he's got to get back to who that guy is.
Yeah, for sure. This is a fun one. Number 14, Connor Griffin. Are you top 10 Connor Griffin yet? I mean, the guy is ridiculous. 9 home runs, 27 stolen bases on the season. Already moved up to high A as a 19-year-old. Just electric tools. Like I don't even know what else you could say about him. This guy has future number 1 prospect written all over him. As long as the contact tool can carry, like as long as he's got, like, I don't even care about his plate skills because he's just so aggressive. It's like, do the plate skills even matter? I mean, like you don't want him striking out 35% of the time, but it's like, if he doesn't walk, I don't really care as long as he's going to hit as much as he is. So, you know, he's swinging the bat almost 50% of the time and the contact rates are pretty solid right now, even at high A. I mean, it's a small sample size, but 82% contact rate basically in high A right now. And he had 75 at low A and 85 zone, which is good, right? Like it's good enough that with his tools, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, the dude is unreal. I'm on the backfields this spring, like standing like from me to the camera from him. Like this dude's absurd. Like he's got like the broadest shoulders that I've ever seen on a player like that. And he's just so strong, but he runs well. Like he added all that weight, good weight, good muscle this offseason, and he didn't sacrifice any of his speed. Like he's still a 70 runner and he's probably got 70 raw power at this point. Like when you're 18, I know he just turned 19, but when you're 18, you put up 114s. I think he had like 7 batted balls over 110 in single A, kind of just stupid numbers. And to run like he did is like, okay, you're right. Future number 1. Like, this is what they look like. This is what you want to see. And the hit tool is better than advertised. I know, you know, you see all kind of grades on them. People are like the approach is bad. The kid's down to 27% chase rate. Like he's improved that all year. He's cleaned up the approach and everybody's like, oh, we can't put him high. And I've seen some of the guys like Kylie McDaniel, Keith Law say, well, you can't put him high because the approach is bad. I don't necessarily think that's the case because you look at the improvements that he's made with the chase. You look at some of the improvements he's made with the zone swing rate, the heart swing rate, like those things are really, really good. For me, like the biggest thing with Griffin, I want to see the launch angles improve. You know, the ground ball rates have been higher than I'd like to see. He's rolled over some balls. He's hit some pop-ups. Like that's what I want to see improve. But at the end of the day, like when you're hitting the ball as hard as he is, you can get away with some ground balls. You can get away with some pop-ups because when you're doing the damage, when you hit the ball at good angles, like he has, you're going to see the numbers. And 9 home runs in 50 games in single A, 27 stolen bases on the year, just stupid stuff. I'm telling you, he's going to pop off hard in the South Atlantic League. Greensboro, his new home park, is super hitter friendly. Asheville is a bandbox. Winston-Salem's a bandbox. In Greenville, where I am, the ball really flies in the summer. He'll be in Greenville next week, so I'll get some more looks at him. But he is going to, I think, really pop in high A and hit a lot of homers. And everybody's going to be like, this kid's a star. And I think that's the case. He's always been that. He's a good glove in center field, too. Like, he's transitioned well out to the outfield. He still played some shortstop, so that's good. I like that he's still playing short, but he's really good in center, too. So they've got the options. They've got the versatility. This kid's a star.
Yeah, you're like tools, like profile wise, batted ball profile wise right now, it just reminds me of like Ellie. It's like, okay, yeah, he hits the ball on the ground too much, but he's just so electric. He's going to make it work no matter. It doesn't even matter. I mean, like, it'd be great if he got the ball in the air more, but even if he hits the ball on the ground, he's still going to be a stellar player. 13, first baseman Bryce Eldridge with the Giants, who just went up to Triple-A. This is another guy that the Giants really could use him. And so I think he is up by the end of the season, which is crazy because he's 20 years old. But big time power. I just hope that he doesn't get like Brandon belted in San Francisco, basically. And his power is just completely like eaten up by the stadium as a lefty. So that's my main concern with him, is that like the stadium could make him like look worse than he actually is, just because it is a tough stadium for lefty power. But he's 6'7", 223 pounds. So he's got the build. He's got ridiculous EVs. This is what you want in a first baseman. This is like exactly what you want. Great zone contact, great power. Like, even if he's going to swing and miss, that's okay. A lot of the power hitting first basemen do.
Yeah, he's definitely upper tier first base prospect. I think this is what everybody hoped Xavier Isaac would be, but the contact's just much better with the Bryce Eldridge. And he's actually a pretty good athlete for somebody that's 6'7". Like, he has long levers. He's a decent athlete for his size. So that helps. The power's off the charts. Like, he's a 30 home run bat in the major leagues, in my opinion. And I think the contact skills are good enough to play, like, where he's going to give you some respectable batting average. He's going to put a lot of balls in play, and he hits the ball so hard that he's going to make things happen, like run higher BABIP type. It's light tower power. The swing's beautiful. Like, you watch him and you're like, yeah, this kid's checks all the boxes you want to see from a first baseman. Like, this is what they look like for a first baseman, for, future, like, big power, good feel to hit. And I know the hit tool is not like great, but like an average hit tool from that power will play. Like, this is what we need to see. And very excited about Bryce Eldridge in his future. I'm with you. I think he comes up at the end of the year. I think they don't exhaust his prospect eligibility, so you're probably looking late August. Keep him prospect eligible for next year. Let him make a run at that prospect promotion incentive pick for the Giants. And ultimately, like, he gets enough in major league experience, gets his feet wet, where he's like, yeah, I'm ready to roll in 2026. So I think that's a likely outcome, just given kind of the timeline they've put him on right now. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe they bring him up sooner. But at the end of the day, like, they are competing, so maybe they go with it. If they're still competing come All-Star break, maybe that scenario has changed, and they say, we need Bryce Eldridge in this lineup. So that also wouldn't be shocking. But I think there's other areas that team that probably need to boost over the power they need from him. But who knows? That bat can change the lineup quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Number 12 is Jack Caglione, first baseman, actually getting some outfield reps too with the Royals. And obviously he's up right now. Hits the crap out of the ball. Like, there's nobody else who hits the ball like him in the minor leagues. He's in the majors now. Like, what else am I going to say? I don't want to spend too much time on guys when they're already in the majors at this point. But he killed it all the way through. Just very impressive, a lot faster than I expected. I did not expect him to reach the majors this year at all. And here he is.
Yeah, I mean, he improved the approach. So, like, he cut the chase rate from 40% down to 33% in the minors this year, which was a big thing. So, like, he had to clean that up. But even with the approach, like, I think that we talk about chase rate, but I think we need to talk about chase rate in different buckets. And somebody this big with long levers, like, they're going to chase more often. That's just natural. But for Cags, like, he makes so much contact, he can do damage out of the zone. Like, I've watched him hit balls that are out of the zone, like 110 plus, which is nuts. But best power in the minors, now in the majors, obviously, but he's got some of the best power in the majors. Like, his 9th percentile exit velocity in both stops in the minors was like 111.6. So that's like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, like Ronald Acuna type power. Like, those are the kind of guys that he comps with from those exit velocities. And obviously the infamous like 120.6 exit velocity, not shocking, because we had seen some balls that he hit in the AFL that I saw him hit like 118. I'd seen him hit some balls in college, like over 120. So just stupid stuff. And the power's off the charts. Yeah, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on him. No, it's the best power that it comes from, like, in the minors for his age, like, stupid. I think the contact skills are pretty good too. Like, this kid makes pretty respectable contact in the zone, which mitigates the chase a little bit. So it's going to be a fun player for a long time.
Yeah. And I think right now, because he didn't get off to the hottest start, if someone's selling and like already giving up on him in the league that you're in, go grab him. Like, go if you can, go buy him if someone's already selling on him just because he hasn't hit a home run yet or whatever in 8 games. But because that's the world we live in, people will move off guys so fast. So if you have the chance, go get him. Number 11 is starting pitcher Andrew Painter with the Phillies, who I actually got to see this year. I saw him on his rehab, so he wasn't really throwing his breakers as much, and he was kind of doing some weird stuff where, like, the first inning, he was throwing all fastballs, and then he was like, didn't look very good. The hitters all knew he was just throwing fastballs, so they were just, I mean, like, nobody was getting good contact off of it, but they were fouling it off. Threw a lot of he threw a lot of pitches, more than you would expect for one inning because he was going all fastball. And then the second inning, he started mixing in his breaking stuff, and he was untouchable at that point. It was like as soon as he started mixing in the stuff, nobody was fouling balls off anymore. It was just like non-contact and strikeouts. So that just goes to show, like, sometimes in the minors, when you're looking at stats, especially if someone was hurt and they're rehabbing and they're doing stuff, like Quinn Matthews when he was in A-ball, like all that stuff is just a wash. Like, you know, like those stats like don't matter. Like Tink Hence was rehabbing the other day, and he was only throwing like 93, and he's in A-ball. It's like, look, these guys are coming back from injuries. They're going to come back the way that the trainers think is the best way for them to prepare. And it's going to take some warming up when they're coming back from injuries. So, like, if you look at Painter's early season stats and you're just like, you know, like, he wasn't that great. And, you know, when he was down in A-ball or high A or whatever, like, none of that really matters. The guy's coming back for rehab, and hopefully he gets back to where he was back in 2022 when he was just untouchable. I don't know if he's going to get all the way back there because a lot of the Tommy John guys of recent have had, you know, struggles coming back, like Sandy, for instance. So I don't know if he'll get all the way back there in 1 year, but, you know, it sounds like he's going to be up in like July, and he's probably going to be a big part of the Phillies team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you bring up a really good point, and that's not only rehab guys, but across the minors. There's development stuff that goes on that you can't see in the surface stats. I mean, Juan Valera set on 3 or 4 starts already this year, but they are forcing him to throw first pitch sliders to every left-handed pitcher. Like, Valera can beat anybody with his fastball, but they're forcing him to throw these sliders and changeups that right now are fringy pitches because they want him to develop them. That's minor league player development. And obviously on a rehab like Painter, he's going to have to work in different pitches. And so he's interesting. You look on the surface, you're like, it's bad. He's bad, but the arsenal's electric. He's going to be fine. I'm not particularly worried about Painter. And I think that he's going to be really good once you see him up. He'll probably be up around the All-Star break, as you mentioned, but it's a 4-pitch arsenal. He's got a hammer of a curveball. He's got an upper 90s fastball that touches triple digits. He's got a really good slider. And I think the changeup's pretty good too. And he's commanded the ball pretty well overall. Like, that's one of the biggest things that takes time to come back after TJ is the command. And so seeing him in the AFL, the command was kind of wonky in a couple of the starts that I saw him, but I do think that's coming back around. Yes, he has walked more guys in AAA. You've also got the ABS there, challenge system. So you take it kind of with a grain of salt. I think that we have historically seen walk rates go down after guys go from AAA to the majors, even with just the challenge system. So I'm excited to see Painter in the majors. I don't think you should take any of his surface stats for worth anything. Like, I think you just throw him out and say, this kid's got the arsenal. He's going to be okay. And he's working on things right now. He's working his way back still. Last night, 2 nights ago, he faced 24 batters. That's the most he's faced since 2022. That's a big win. That's what I look at and say, he's building up. He's commanding the ball a little better. He did not walk a batter when he pitched on Tuesday. Those are big wins, in my opinion, when we're looking at a guy coming back from TJ. So Painter, going to be absolutely fine. Not worried a bit.
Yeah, I agree. Number 10, outfielder Josue DePaulo with the Dodgers. This kid just has the best plate approach. Like, I love that. He's going to be a stellar in points leagues, and he's got the power. So this is like basically if you have Lazaro Montes, it's like, to me, the way I think about it is it's like if you have Lazaro Montes with a good hit tool and like the plate approach, because I think he's going to get into more power. Like, he has more power in that bat than what he's shown so far. So big body, like I said, walks more than he strikes out, doubles, homers, some speed. Like, I don't know how real his speed is with him. Maybe you've clocked him. So but I think that a lot of the stolen bases are maybe just him taking advantage of good situations more than like being a super fast dude. But that's Josue DePaula is like, he's going to be a legit power hitter with a good contact tool in the majors.
Yeah, he's actually one that I haven't seen live, unfortunately. I kind of want to just make a trip up to the Midwest League and see that Great Lakes team's absurd. But, DePaula just turned 20. That's the thing. He just turned 20 and he's doing the things that he's done, which are just stupid. And he's only gotten better, in my opinion. This year, we're seeing better launch angles. That's been huge. Getting to the game power, more line drives, more healthy fly balls. Like, you love to see those things. He makes a ton of contact, as you mentioned. He doesn't chase at all. You love to see that, and the EVs are good. Now, I don't know if it was a misread or not, but last year, DePaula registered a batted ball at 122. It may have been a misread. I have no clue, but it was in the system, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm not shocked, but again, it's probably a misread. But again, he had a lot of high index of velocities. I think he ran a 9th percentile around like 105 last year at 19. That's gotten even better this year. This kid is a great fantasy prospect. For real life, I can see why he might be a little lower on list, because you don't know where he's going to be glove wise. Like, is he going to have to move to first base? I don't know. Can he handle a corner outfield spot? I think that's what they're hoping. It just all depends on how the athlete develops. But yeah, DePaula is a stud. I think it's potential 7 power. Yeah, I think he's probably like plus power now with the potential for 7. And that hit tool's so good. I've seen some weird grades on his hit tool, but I think it's a plus hit tool. And it's a rare find when you have a plus hit tool plus power from a 20-year-old like this that just turned 20. And I think, yeah, you look and he's stolen bases. Like, yeah, he stole 27 last year, caught 3 times, 16 caught 3 times this year. Again, I would have to kind of ask around some clocks because I don't have him. And I've not seen him in person, so I don't have a clock time. But I think that, like, watching him on film, like, he looks fluid enough. He's like at least like an average runner, or he's like kind of not stiff. And you hope that maybe if the clock times tick down over time, like whatever, like he's average probably right now. But at the end of the day, like, DePaula is a stud. Like, this bat is insane. Very, very high on the bat.
Yeah, he's made strides too. He lowered the ground ball rate. So last year in high A, he was hitting the ball on the ground 48% of the time. Now he's got it under 40, and the line drive rate is up. So he's making, like, everything he's doing is positive. Like, he hasn't really like taken any steps back this year. Like, he hasn't really regressed anywhere. And that's what you'd love to see. Number 9 is Bubba Chandler with the Pirates, who maybe has kind of like slowed down a bit. Like, he had so much steam coming in, just really great starts off the bat, like the first like 6-7 starts. And then now we're seeing like some command issues with him. And like, a part of me thinks, just like how you mentioned with Mayo, do you think maybe he's just like, hey, when are they going to call me up? Like, and I don't know, maybe he's losing, like, I don't know. That's just me thinking, like, psychologically, is he like losing some motivation? Because you see a guy that at the beginning of the season was striking everybody out, this crazy fastball, 16% swing strike rate on the fastball. And then lately it's just been a lack of command. Like, on the 24th, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. 30th, he had a good start, 8 Ks, 1 walk. But then against Memphis, he only threw 49 pitches, one strikeout, 1 walk. And then last time out, 31 pitches, 0 strikeouts, 4 walks. So, like, that's kind of concerning. Hopefully he's not hurt. And this is, a psychological thing where maybe he's just like mad that he hasn't been called up yet. That's the issue. So what do you think about Chandler right now?
Yeah, I mean, he is an electric athlete. It's like he was a former 2A that was going to play football and quarterback at Clemson. That tells you what you need to know about him, because at the time he was committed, Clemson was coming off national championships. So, absurd athlete. I saw him in high school and then saw him into pro ball. Like, it was just the jump that he made from, the 2A guy in single A to when he started just pitching in high A. When I saw him with Greensboro a couple of times, it was just insane stuff. I mean, stuff's off the charts. It's the fastball is triple digits, sits 98. He rides it exceptionally well. The changeup's like 17 inches of arm side movement. The slider is a banger of a pitch as well. And so, yeah, I wonder what's going on, because Chandler's strike rates are still really good. Like, he's above average strike rates on the year. So that's a positive thing. I don't think he's hurt. The velo's still good. He hit 102 last night. I don't know what's going on with the command. Like, that is a question mark, though. You look and you're like, all right, what's this guy doing? Like, why is he missing so bad? And I don't know, maybe there's something that's not arm related underlying that's like causing the mechanics to tweak ever so slightly. He's just missing the zone. And, he's pulled last night. Yeah, most Orgs pull guys after 30 pitches in an inning, just workload management. So when you walk forward, you don't get out the first, people are like freaking out. Just buy low on this guy, man. He's going to be fine. The Arsenal is some of the best in the minors, and he commands the ball typically. Like, the command has gotten better over the years. So I'm a big Bubba Chandler fan. He's my number one pitching prospect, even though I think the next guy we'll talk about pitching wise is challenging at this point. But Chandler, absurd stuff. I mean, few guys have 270 pitches. Chandler may have 270s and a 6. So, like, he's got it, just crazy stuff. And I think he's going to command the ball well enough to be fine. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just a mental thing. Like, get me out of here. Like, why am I not in the majors at this point? Because really, with what he's shown, there's absolutely no reason that he should not be in Pittsburgh at this point. Who knows what they're doing? They do weird stuff. I'm not going to question it, but it's the Pirates at the end of the day.
Yeah. Number 8 is first baseman Nick Kurtz, up in the majors, healthy again now after a little injury. And again, he's about to graduate, so I don't want to spend too much time on him. But I talked a lot about him in the preseason, because when I ran my F scores, he comped really well to Christian Walker as far as like what he could do statistically. Obviously, like, Christian Walker's having a down year, so maybe that's a little easier now that he's having a down year to do. Since he is, not being at where he should be. But we've got a plus hit tool here, plus plate skills, plus power. Basically just your really solid first baseman. It's almost like he's the guy that Andrew Vaughn should have been in a way, like that you expected Andrew Vaughn to be. And he's got a great ballpark to hit in right now, and he's putting up really good exit velocity numbers. So I think Kurtz is only going to improve as he spends time in the minors. Like, obviously he got off to kind of a rocky start his first few games, but it's settled in pretty nicely since then.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly everything you described. He's like just incredible approach. He's got the contact. He's got power. He's actually a really good athlete for his size. Like, you watch him, it looks funny, but like he tests really well on like plate skill scores, like broad jumps, like high jumps. Like he tests really well athletically, which is interesting. So I think he can be a good first baseman too. The biggest worry for me with Kurtz is the injuries. Baseball skills, all there. But like, this dude's a walking injury. He was injured 5 times in 2 years at Wake, in the last 2 years at Wake. And then obviously we've seen the injury this year. So that worries me a bit. Like, is he just somebody that's always hurt? But from a baseball standpoint, I can't argue against any reason to not have him ranked this high. I've got him as a top 10 prospect too, because from a baseball standpoint, he's just so good. And we're seeing it. We've seen, obviously, the struggles early on. That's typical. He's adjusted. He had that multi-homer game. And everybody's like, yeah, this is the Kurtz we were waiting for. And that's the Kurtz that's in the bag that we, would have come out eventually. So big fan of Kurtz and what he brings to the table for sure.
Number 7 is outfielder Walker Jenkins with the Twins. And man, he just got back. It's like Twins prospects, Twins in general, are just really rough. I feel like even if a guy has no injury history, as soon as they get in that organization, it's like game over, man. But insane hit tool, like plus hit tool, insane plate approach, plus eye. Like, honestly, though, I worry that he may be too patient instead of just having like a good approach. Because I saw him last year, and I think when I got one look at him, and I think he walked 3 times. He was like 0 for 4 with 3 walks or something like that. And it's just like, dude, just get the bat off the shoulder, because you're a big dude. You hit the ball hard. I want to see you do some damage. Like, you're not like a little guy that I just want to get on base. You're someone that, if you're going to be a middle of the order hitter, like, you have to swing the bat. And like, that's my concern, is like, it's like, okay, is he going to be your number 2 hitter where he's just getting on base? Or is he going to potentially be a number 4 hitter where he can drive and runs? And like, that's where I'm at on him, is it's just like, okay, he's going to be great for points leagues. He's going to be, have good batting average. He's going to always like be a very solid player metrically. But I already brought up like Lars Nootbaar before, is this just going to be, and I did it with another Twins prospect, Emmanuel Rodriguez. It's like, is this going to be a situation where he just is not swinging the bat enough? He is so far this year swinging the bat more than he did last year. I mean, it's a small sample size because he's only had 28 plate appearances so far this season since he was hurt. But it is good to see that swing rate up from what it was last year so far.
Yeah. So Jenkins, I mean, he's a star in the making, in my opinion. It's funny because I spent a lot of time in Fort Myers in the spring, just being around the Red Sox or just really going around. But both springs, when I've been there, the last 2 springs, he has not played. But I did go to the Florida State League last year, and I did get to see him for a couple games. And it's just everything you want to see. The frame's really good. The power's there. I saw him blast a home run, and he runs pretty well for his size. Like for his 6'3" filled out frame, I thought he moved pretty well. He's a leader. You look and like, I watched him do things off the field, and it's like, yeah, this guy gets it. Like after an at bat, like he grounded out. He went to the on deck circle. He was telling the next hitter things. He went to the guy that was in the hole or that would have been on deck then, and he's literally going on the iPad and like showing him stuff. I'm like, this kid's 19. Like he's like coaching these guys. Like he's just like the kind of player that I want to see that I think is going to get the most out of what he does. And everybody knocked the exit velocities. They're like, oh, this guy's, ninth percentile in single A was like 102. The power's not there. Like, no, Jenkins just doesn't sell out for power. Like he has like 70 great contact skills. He doesn't chase, and the power's in there. Like when he wants to get to power, he's going to get to it. And we saw that, or he bumped to high A, and then he even went to double, and the exit velocities improved. Like he had like 4 batted balls over 110 when he left single A. He didn't have a single one in the Florida State League that was over 110. So that was to me like, yes, this guy is like, now we're seeing it. Like he's now actually, he didn't need to do it, but he's got it in the tank. So Jenkins to me, he's plus hit, plus potential power, and he's still an above average runner right now. I don't know if that sticks. He did steal 17 bases last year. Is he a stolen base threat long term? Maybe it's 10. That'd be fine for me. And I think he's really good in the corner spot. So I'm a big fan of Walker Jenkins. It's just staying healthy because these lower body injuries are really concerning for me, and they keep adding up. And, at that point, like at some point, it's like, can he ever stay healthy? I don't know.
Yeah, especially with the org rep around him. It's like it's not like he's got like a comfort blanket around him. Like, oh, well, at least this organization doesn't have injuries or anything like that. Number 6 is starting pitcher Chase Burns with the Reds. This is my top pitcher right now. The stuff has just been insane. Like even better than I thought. Like I really liked him. I had him at 19 coming in. But I bumped him ahead of Chandler, and I bumped him ahead of Painter because the command has also been so good. Like not just the stuff, but the command. And he's also like building up. Like he hasn't had any issues. And this is almost like, I don't want to, like it's so easy to say, oh, it's like reminiscent of, Skeens and how Skeens was built up last year. Like, I guess it is kind of like he could be in the majors right now. Chase Burns could. He's throwing 80 pitches a start the last 3 times out. You'd like to maybe see that get to the 90s before he comes up to the majors, but he's good enough to be a major league pitcher right now for the Cincinnati Reds. And the fastball slider combo is just absolutely insane. I can't wait until he's in AAA and we get like Arsenal data on how his stuff is performing, because it's just going to be something to see. So I'm looking forward to that. But Chase Burns is my top pitcher here at number 6.
Yeah, and he's the one that I referenced that was pushing Chandler. Like I haven't made the move, but it's really close. And at this point, like maybe it is Chase Burns over Bubba Chandler. And you look at what he's done, as you mentioned, the stats are absurd. So the pitch data that I can share that I've got, like he's averaged 99 on the fastball, touch 102 a lot. He's 20 inches of IVB and he cut rides it. So like it's a true cut ride, and it plays well. I mean, he locates so well at the top of the zone. I mean, super high whiff rates on the fastball. Like hitters just can't contest with it at the top of the zone. The slider, my biggest hesitation, he's like 90% fastball slider, but it's worked for Strider. And like you say, like it can't work for everybody, but like Chase Burns' fastball slider are as good as peak Spencer Strider's fastball slider were. So it probably can work. Slider's like 90 miles an hour. It's like good depth, 6 inches of sweep. So it's like they got that late movement on it. And he added a curveball too, which he's not throwing a ton, but the curveball, like obviously when you're 90% fastball slider, you're not using any other pitch that often, but the curveball is like -7 IVB. So it's like versus -1 on the slider. So like pretty good depth there from like the north to south movement that I think he needs, because He still gets sweep on us, like 8 inches of sweep in the low 80s. So, but you got to have something a little more vertical. And I think that curveball could give him that vertical pitch against major league hitters. And then the changeup too is really good. It's like 90 miles an hour. It's like 12 plus inches of fade when he does throw it. So he's got the arsenal and he's got the depth. He just doesn't need to use it. So I'll be curious if he uses the curve and changeup more in AAA and then the majors. But yeah, this kid looks ready for the majors. I was going to drive to Chattanooga, which isn't too far. I was going to try to drive and see him, but that's too late now. Maybe I will get him in Gwinnett or Charlotte in AAA. I got to look at the schedule for Louisville. But yeah, this kid's absurd. And I think it's a fair argument to say he is the best pitching prospect in baseball right now.
Yeah, he should move quick. Like, there's like no reason for him not to, unless the Reds are just gonna like be like, we're not gonna compete this year, and then not bring him up. But like, they're in the mix right now. Like, they should they should want to push him. So we have right now number 5 getting the top 5 here, Samuel Basallo, who just has insane exit velocities for a 20-year-old in AAA, and he was a 19-year-old last year in AAA. Hitting the ball, max EV 115.9, average 90th percentile EV is 108.7 for a guy who is 20 again at AAA. I don't care what position this guy plays. If he's catcher, first base, left field, whatever, like, he's gonna hit. Like, he has such great power. The hit tool is not great. It's okay, but it's good enough to hang in there with that kind of power that he's showing. Like, I tagged him a comp on him if like maybe he's a Kyle Schwarber with maybe slightly better hit tool. We'll see. Schwarber's hit tool has actually been getting better as he's aged. So maybe he has like a Kyle Schwarber type thing. Makes sense, as Schwarber used to be a catcher as well at one point. So maybe Basallo does come off and plays all these positions like Schwarber and has that kind of movement around the diamond for his career, because that's not a bat that you want sitting. That's a bat that you want in the lineup every day.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that like you've seen some advancements with the hit tool for Basallo. And honestly, like he looked pretty good behind the plate when I saw him this spring. Does he stick there? I don't know. I think that he can play there enough to keep fantasy eligibility. And that's all I want. And that's what anybody listening, they should want that. Like, that's probably the best case scenario, is that you kind of spell Adley Rutschman a little bit and you catch 20 games a year and you're playing somewhere else every other day. Like, that would be perfect scenario, because catchers typically, a true catcher isn't playing or getting the games you want. But if a guy's like, hey, I'll catch 20 games to play first, DH, then all of a sudden you're looking at like 150 games. It's like, nice. Like, we're getting the things that you want to see. And that could be the case. I mean, the power is off the charts. The approach is still my biggest question. And I think the reason that they're holding him down is he's chasing at high clips. It's a lower end zone swing rate than you'd like to see. Like, I want to see him be more aggressive on missed pitches, which it doesn't matter because he's doing damage regardless, but chase a little less, clean up some of the approach things, get him to the main. And I don't think the Orioles push him. They have no reason to push him unless they just want the youth movement. But I think it's the case where they're not going to get back in contention. I don't think. You keep him down till mid-August and you keep him prospect eligible for 2026 and make a run at that pick. We have seen them do that with Gunnar Henderson. It worked out really well. They were gifted that extra pick and they used it wisely. So that could be the case with Basallo, given that he is 20. They don't really need to push him. So I think that mid-August might be the ETA for him. I know some want to see him sooner. I just don't see that personally, but maybe I'm wrong there. And we do see him up by the All-Star break. But personally, I think it's a late season call-up. But yeah, it's elite power for his age. Some of the best power in the minors already. And he's 20. So just crazy stuff.
Yeah. Number 4, this is going to be a fun one because people are going to argue about the 2 shortstops near the top here. It is Leo DeVries with the Padres. DeVries, I have just a tick under the next guy we're going to talk about, Walcott, because I think I'm going to lean toward Walcott's power upside. DeVries has a better hit tool at this point. Maybe I think he probably has a better plate approach too than Walcott, even though Walcott will walk more. He's got the Ks a little more in check. But Walcott has, I think, a better power speed upside. They probably run similarly. I don't know if you have times on them, but they probably run pretty similarly. I just think Walcott's more aggressive on the base paths is why he's got a higher steals total. But for fantasy, I just see Walcott as like having higher power and speed potential, which is why I'll nudge him like one spot over DeVries, because that's going to be the big argument is like, who do you like between DeVries and Walcott? Like that's going to be what people are going to be talking about between those two guys, because it's pretty tight right now between them. And Walcott's got a little bit of a proximity edge being one level higher as well.
Yeah, I mean, I only had a couple game look at DeVries in the AFL last year, and I only think I got one sprint on him to first. Like the times where, yeah, I'm hesitant to like throw out a grade based on one sprint speed, but I saw a lot of Walcott last year when he was in high A. Hickory's pretty close, so I did get to see a lot of him. And yeah, he's above average runner right now, and the frame like is that of an athlete. He's got long legs. He gets faster over space. So like when you see him have a triple, like you just watch his long legs, and you're like, dang, this guy just keeps getting faster. And I would favor Walcott too, just given the power and speed upside. He definitely is lapping Leo in both, but Leo's hit tool is substantially better. So, you look at DeVries and he, I believe, makes way better contact, and his launch angles help the exit velocities play up. Like he's not lighting up the exit velocity leaderboards. Like it's like a 102, 103, 90th off the top of my head. But DeVries is making such good quality of contact, like from his launch angles. His air pull percentage is really good. Like he's getting the ball in the air very consistently. And most of his hard hit balls are to the pool side, which does help that out. Now, he's hit balls up to 110 miles an hour. That's been encouraging to see. So there is some juice at the higher end for DeVries. And the contact rates are stellar. And I think the approach pretty solid as well. So I give that edge to Leo DeVries. But with Walcott, like with what you're looking at, like it's like the light tower power where, you register a 116 last year as an 18-year-old. That's stupid. I think he ran a 10 or a 106 and a half, ninth percentile. It's taken another tick forward this year to like 107 and a half. So he hits the cover off the ball. Like it's 70 juice with maybe 80 raw power. Like when you see him, it was like Jack. Like I saw him mishit a ball in person 111. Like I just don't even know how he did it. It almost seemed like he hit it off the end of the bat. And like he just scorched it out to the opposite field. It's like, this guy's just insane. The biggest question is the hit tool and the approach with Walcott, but they've improved in my opinion. Like you look, and I think we've seen some improvements with the chase rate with Walcott. We've seen a little bit of improvement with in-zone contact with Walcott. It's like, these are the things you want to see. Remember, he just turned 19 years old and he's in AA. He started in AA. And obviously he went there last year too, but like, to get the challenges that he's facing, I think he's meeting expectations. You look and you're like, oh, it's like a 795 OPS. Like, how is he a top prospect in the game? Well, because he's so young, he's so projectable, he's got tools for days, and he's exceeding expectations at his age in AA. He's got a 122 WRC plus. Like, that's everything you want to see and more. So I'm a big Walcott fan. I do have him over Leo DeVries, but it's close. I like both guys a lot.
Yeah, like if you're looking just at the stats, you might say, "Oh, why are these two top 5 over other guys who have more counting stats or whatever?" But it's really important to look at the age to level. DeVries is an 18-year-old in high A. Walcott is a 19-year-old in AA with above average WRC pluses. Even if they had like 100 WRC plus, they're still 3 or 4 years below the average age at that level. So it's just very impressive to see that, especially like AA pitching is a whole nother level. So Walcott holding in his own at that age in AA is pretty insane. Number 2 on the list, since we kind of combined 3 and 4 there, is outfielder Max Clark. And I decided to push Clark up my rankings ahead of these guys, just because the hit tool is so good with Clark. Like this is the guy, like he has the hit tool of a Weatherholt or a Keishel that you like to see, but there's more power and speed in there, right? So it's like you're taking that plus hit tool, and then you're adding, and he has a plus plate approach, more walks than Ks, and then you have a nice little power ceiling, and of course, like he's just a super athlete, so he'll probably he's not going to be the fastest runner, but he could steal as many bags as he wants, I think, just because he's that good of an athlete. It's kind of like how much does he want to run is like how much he's going to steal. It might be like a Mike Trout situation where he like early in the career wants to steal 50 bags, he'll steal 50 bags. And then if he feels like when he's older, he wants to try to get to more power, maybe you'll see the stolen bases come down at some point. But I'm huge on Max Clark. Like statistically, you look, you're like, 257 batting average, 364 slug. That's not that great, whatever. But everything under the hood is so good. 21% walk rate to 15.8% K rate is crazy. Like I would like to see what he could do at double A, kind of like Walcott, get challenged like Walcott and send him up a level, because he's been at high A now for 84 games between this year and last year. That's a pretty good sample size at high A, where he's had an advanced plate approach and shown the good hit tool there. And it's like, even though he hasn't come into the power at that level, I think it's fine to advance him in my opinion at this point for the Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best athletes in the minors. He's 60 to 70 runner, depending on the times you get. He can fly. The power is the biggest question. The hit tool's good. The glove's good. Like he's above average to plus everywhere, but the power. But I think the power will come. Like I think that's something you can expect to kind of come around more. It's a shorter frame than you'd expect. Like he's listed 6'205". Like I'd argue he might be shorter than that, but it doesn't matter. Like that's not limiting by any means if he's 5'10", but he's kind of physically maxed out at this point. So like how much more does he get into, I guess is the question. And I think people's biggest question is the power, but I think it'll play. I think it's going to play fine when you give all the other tools, because another guy that he's going to hit more home runs than the exit velocity suggests, just given that his angles are good. You know, he's gets the ball in the air to the pull side often. This year, he's actually going oppo more, which is interesting to see, up the middle more. The pull rate has dropped like nearly, 9 percentage points. That's something interesting to see and keep an eye on. But I think Max Clark will get to the power in time. The bat speed's good. You look at it and you just see him whip the bat around. It's a smooth swing. He lets the power come to him, and he checks all the boxes. The hit tool's probably a 7. I think he might be a 6 to 7 runner. The glove's above average to plus in the outfield. Like this is a guy you want to bet on. I think he's just a super athlete. He's probably the biggest grinder in the game. Him or Kyle Teal, I would say, are like work more than anybody and like eat, sleep, and breathe baseball. And even when they're off, they're just like finding ways to get better. They're like cage rats and like, lifting weights. That's just who Clark is. He's just like this absolute gamer. And, I interviewed him when he was 16 and he was the sharpest mind. Like one of the sharpest minds I've talked to, and at 16, I was like, man, this kid just gets it and he's different. And just an awesome player. So an easy guy to root for. I think that he's going to be a stud. And like, he may be one of those guys where we look back and you're like, yeah, everybody underrated him as a prospect. Obviously, you're not putting him second, but a lot of people have been low on him. I think he's just going to be a star, like in a lot of ways. And it could be like the development, like of a Pete Crow Armstrong, who had the power come on later. But Clark had just lapsed PCA in a lot of the skills, like as far as it goes, like with the approach, with the contact. Like Clark has PCA beat by miles already. And so if he does add that power late to that profile, then yeah, I'm totally okay with it, because everything else is just so good.
Yeah, I mean, like with the way that he is, I'm okay with 20 home runs. You know what I mean? Like if he can get the 20 home run power, that's good for me. He's in Detroit too, so like that's not the easiest place to get the power. Like Riley Green, it took some time for him to get to that power in that stadium. So like it can come. I mean, like even Torque, right? Like Torque's finally getting there. It took a few years for him to figure that out at that stadium. So it's not the best stadium for power, but that's okay. I think that like even like Colt Keith, for instance, had really high EVs, but he hasn't really been able to get to the power there. But I think that Clark, he'll figure it out. He like you said, he's a gamer. Number 1 is outfielder Roman Anthony with the Red Sox. Obviously, like just called up a couple games ago. His stats in the MLB do not matter at this point. Ridiculous exit velocities, max 116, 95 average this year. This guy's going to mash. Like, I'm so excited to see what he could do at Boston. He's just going to mash. And like, if someone's selling him off of a few games, if he gets off to a cold start, I feel like that's always like the best buying window, right after a guy is promoted and they come into the majors. They're trying to figure out the majors. They had to move. They have to do all this stuff. Like that first couple weeks, every single prospect has struggles. Like nobody gets it. Like none of these guys get out the gate hot. So someone after a couple weeks, couple bad weeks is down because they didn't immediately like gratify their need for production, then go ahead and go buy him because that's like your last shot, basically, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's a superstar. Like he just does everything you want to see. I mean, I've had scouts try to nitpick like the little hitch in his swing and blah, 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 but it doesn't matter. Like he's just mashed his entire career. Like I knew he was special. I watched him play in the 2021, I think it was. Yeah, 2021 high school All-American game. With a wood bat, he hit a ball 450. And it was like 105 off the bat. I was like, holy cow. And he's the athlete. Like the juice just got better. Anthony's most underrated aspect is his glove, which is really good. I don't think people have given him credit there. Like he's not going to play center in Boston, just given the outfielders that they have and their outfield defense being good. But he's a really good center field defender. Like from everything I saw over the years from Anthony, the bat speed's only gotten better over time. I mean, he's 6'4", like still projectable. He's 20 years old, like power for days. I mean, it's harder to find a better combo of approach, contact, and power than Anthony. And that's why he's been the consistent top prospect for a while, and rightfully so. He runs well. Maybe it ticks down with time if he puts on a little more weight. That's okay, because I think he's going to do everything else so well that it won't matter. And I think Anthony's going to be really good for a long time. I mean, even in his first game, like he smoked that ball 111 miles an hour, ended up being an out, like completely unlucky because he bounced it off Shane Baz and went to the shortstop. But yeah, Anthony's just a dude. The way he goes about his business is just different than everybody else. And there's a reason that he ascended to the top like he did. So Roman Reigns at the top, and he will graduate there for sure for, I think, most everybody. And he deserves that. So just a special prospect that's going to have a special major league career, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, you've seen these graphs throughout as I'm like clicking through the players, and there's this graph EV distribution here. It leans so far to the right for him. It's hilarious. Like nobody else has been even close to that. So if you just fast forward through this video as you're watching, and we're talking about all these, and these are the top guys, right? You'll just see this graph all like for the EVs lean straight right for him. It's like, okay, that's something special there. So we'll wrap up the pod there. You got anything else going, Clegg, besides just the daily grind, the normal grind going on that you want to promote here?
Nah, that's pretty much it. Just grinding the content to the Dynasty Dugout, just getting out to as many games as possible. And, this week we're in Spartanburg seeing Wilmington. So Socorro, Clemmy, Jackson Kent looked really good yesterday. And then be in Charleston next week, some family vacay and some games. And then I'm going to go to Jupiter, actually, down in your area, first week of July. So I'm supposed to go next week, kind of change the schedule based on some scheduling stuff. But yeah, it's just living the dream, man. So I'm appreciative. I want to thank anybody that's listening and supported, and support all the people doing great work like Tim. Just encourage you to support people like that in the industry that are grinding and doing great work. So definitely go check out all that Tim's doing. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. Support all the great people in the space.
Yeah, for sure. When you come, we got to hang out. Come on,
Yeah,
we're going to go to the game.
absolutely.
I'm going to see Ronnie L. Rodriguez this weekend for the first time. So
Nice.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Ferrari, that dude's a beast.
Yeah, he is. I can't wait to see him hit some tanks in the stadium, because this stadium is so tough, and he's just been killing it. It's crazy how hard it is to hit home runs in the stadium. But you'll see when you get here, because the ocean is toward the outfield, so the wind is always blowing from the ocean, so the wind is always blowing into that stadium. But that's the podcast. Thanks for jumping on, Clegg. We'll see you everybody next time. Peace out.